you ready to explore the arts of Katie Grace? That's me. Come on, we're going to learn about different artists and musicians. We're going to explore different works of art and hear music that you may have not heard before. Let's recreate famous works of art. Do you want to act and sing together? Would you like to learn some awesome new stretches? We can do all this and have fun thinking of ourselves in positive ways. Are you ready? Let's go. Come on, Maddie. Today, we're going to learn about the famous artist Claude Monet, who was a French painter and founder of Impressionism. Claude Monet was born 1840 and died 1926. Monet was considered the founder of Impressionism and used light and bright colors to paint. Monet was best known for his series of water lilies, but also painted landscapes and seascapes. As a child, he drew cartoons of his teachers. His wives and children are often featured in his paintings. He also loved to garden and often painted them gardening. Today, our haute vocabulary word is called impasto. Can you say it with me? Impasto. Impasto is a technique where the paint is laid on thick to create texture on the canvas. For today's craft, we're going to be making a 4 seasons tree. You guys will create your own Monet-inspired 4 seasons watercolor tree. Everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to be doing a painting inspired by Claude Monet. And the type of painting we're doing today is called impasto. Pasto is basically like a thicker kind of paint. So what we're going to do to make this kind of paint is we're going to throw in some flour, and the paint is laid on really with a thick consistency to create some texture on this canvas. And what we're going to do today is we're going to paint the 4 seasons. So we're going to have spring, summer, fall, and winter. But first, we're going to start with spring. So what we're going to do is I want everyone to have their paper. I want them to put it on the back and first off, write their name. Next, we're going to glue on our art gallery label. And we are ready to begin. First, we are going to take our paint. So as you can see, I have my darker paint, which will be along this side. And I have my lighter paint, which I'm going to combine with some white to make it lighter. So first what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour in some white paint. And see how that's lightened up a little bit? It's because we added the white paint in. And this will be much lighter than this one. So we're just gonna leave that there. Now, we're gonna take some of our flour on a spoon, and we're going to mix this into the paint because the flour is going to make the paint have a thicker consistency. And we're gonna get it till it's much thicker. So we need to add a little bit more in. We want this paint to have a much thicker consistency than normal. This will create the impasto look. Claude Monet was known for his impasto technique, which is what we're inspired by today. fact, we can even add a little more flour. So just keep adding flour until your paint develops a thick consistency, until it peaks. And I'll show you what that looks like once it peaks. So see how the paint is kind of peaking at the bottom, like it forms into a step of object? That's basically what happens when there's enough flour. And we will continue. We're gonna start painting the flower and spring. So let's get started. We're going to dip our brush into it and start. We're just gonna kind of do like some light strokes, just kind of like this. You want it to be very much textured. And we want this nice texture. Now we're gonna do some darker, and we're just gonna do darker and work our way to lighter. So first you can use your dark paint, and you're just kind of like this. You wanna create the consistency that it's thicker. So as we do that, we're gonna add some more here. So let's add in some more flour. Now we're gonna stir in the flour for this one. And see how it's kind of like peaking at the bottom? That's what we want. That means that the flour is making the paint thick enough that it's gonna create lots of texture on the paint, on the canvas. And we want it to be very thick like this. So what basically we're gonna do is we're going to dip our paintbrush in, and we're just gonna do small, short strokes like this. We want to create that level of texture. And we're just gonna kind of do this until we want it to look good. So make sure you're using short, small strokes, like I am doing here. This form of small strokes is going to add some layers, texture to your paint, kind of bring out your paint and bring it to life. And so it looks something like that. Now, make sure to get everything in here. The brush, we want to make sure everything is in. And now, we're not going to go much further than this with the paint, because now we're going to start to do lighter paint. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna add some more flour in here. And we want this to become much more thicker. And we can begin fading in some of the lighter paint into this to make it thicker. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna wipe off the brush and make sure you have a paper towel present so that way you can wipe off your paint. All right, now we're going to begin mixing in the lighter lavender paint and creating like an ombre look. So remember to keep doing small strokes. That is the goal here. And we want to make it look like like texture. So we can continue to do this, and then once we are all done, we can move on to the flowers. So good luck, everyone. All right, everyone, we are ready to start with the flowers. So as you can see in this sample, we have made several little flowers along the branches. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna begin with our pink paint. We're gonna put some flour in there. And we're going to stir until it becomes thick, like just the other ones. And now we are ready to begin. So we're gonna take a brush and we're just gonna do like light dabs along the branches like this. Just kind of a dab, and that, you know. And this is going to make flowers. Now that we've done that, we can wash off our brush. Make sure that you have water to wash off your brush available next to you. And we're going to do some white paint. So first, we are going to use some of the white paint. And we're going to dab a little bit of the white paint right in the center of each pink flower on the summer portion of our project. So I've already stirred flour into each one of these, and we will begin. So first, what we're gonna do is we are going to take our brush, we're going to dip in some of the darker paint, and we are just going to do blotches all around like this. And we're just gonna kind of just make sure that it looks kind of layered, just kind of do some short brush strokes, kind of like what we did in spring, but just different colors. And make sure you have your dark green and your light green separated. You want to be able to layer both when the time comes. And good luck to everyone. I can explain more in a minute. Let's just get this going. And we are just going to use some of the lighter paint. And now we're going to slowly work this in. We're going to make sure that it looks like it is and so we're just kind of gonna like work it in together, you know, just to make sure it looks good. Make sure to have your paints close and available to you. We're going to just continue doing this and just keep painting. Make sure that you use small brush strokes, like how I'm doing. Now we're just gonna kind of do some different textures. So if you want, you can add a little bit of green, just you can mix the dark. You don't wanna mix, but you can take some of the dark and just kind of put it in there, if that makes sense. Don't be afraid to just mix it. Don't mix it all the way, just swirl it kind of how I'm doing. Just, it adds some texture and some layers to it. And now we can add a little bit of yellow to lighten this up because summer is light. We'll add some yellow. we're just gonna kind of add some of this yellow, make sure it kind of like, this kind of looks like spring. So as you can see here, we're just kind of like adding everything in. And so it just adds a lot of texture. And you make sure you want to rinse out your water after a little while. It can get full of other colors and stain your brush. So let's add some a little bit darker, just some blotches of dark. And I don't want any white showing, so we're just gonna, and now we are done. Make sure it just sticks up. And we are done with the summer portion of our project. All right, guys, we are moving on to the fall portion of this project. So we're gonna be using orange paint and yellow, and we're gonna mix it together in some areas. So I have already put the flour into the paint to make sure it's thickened, and we're gonna get started. So on the outer area, we're just gonna do some thicker paint and just kind of use, like I've mentioned, short strokes. And so just remember to keep just the short strokes. Remember just to keep to these strokes. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start to mix in our paint, our yellow. So how we're gonna do that is we're just gonna lightly dot this along like seen before. So it just kind of looks like this. We're just gonna keep portion of the video. We are on the winter portion, which means we're gonna have our blue paint, some white paint to mix in, and gray. So I've already mixed in the flour and everything. So I'm gonna rinse off my brush. Now I'm gonna get ready to start. we just finished the winter section. Make sure to clean up all your paint, and thank you all. Today we're learning about the classical composer and violinist Antonio Vivaldi, who was born in 1768 and died in 1741. He lived in Italy and was an Italian composer. He was actually born in Venice, Italy, and his father taught him how to play the violin. He wrote over 500 musical pieces, the most famous being The Four Seasons. He taught an orphanage for girls and wrote music for the girls to play. The Four Seasons, a group of 4 violin musical pieces expressing each of the 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. These 4 pieces were written from 1718 to 1720. Can you feel the spring? I sure feel it. Listen to those violins. You also can hear the harpsichord and the violas. And then it picks up. Can you just feel the spring? I know I can. You can hear the cellos. Isn't it just such a beautiful music piece? It just sounds so fun, like spring. You can feel the flowers bloom and the bunnies and all the animals coming to life. You can feel the spring and the baby chickens, the chicks, and just the energy of spring. The happiness, the cheeriness. And then it goes really fast. Such a beautiful music piece. You can hear the violin a lot now. What do you guys hear? Thank you guys, you are awesome. Hopefully we can listen to some more again. Again, everyone. Today, for our musical theater, we are going to be doing a 4 seasons improv. Now, I bet you're wondering, what is improv? Well, improv means to act on the spot without thinking. You just say what's on the top of your head. For example, today, we are going to be doing an improv about the 4 seasons: summer, fall, winter, and spring. But first, I want to ask you, what do you like to do in the summer? Act it out with me. Now, what do you guys like to do in summer? For example, I love to swim in the summer. It's so hot. What about you? That looks fun. Now, what do you like to do in the fall? I know. I like to jump in leaves. Woo! What about you? What do you like to do in the fall? Now, one last time, what do you like to do in the winter? Good question. I know what I like to do. I like to build snowmen. It's so much fun. Woo! What about you? What do you like to do in the winter? Wow, that's awesome. Now, last but not least, what do you like to do in the spring? I know what I like to do in the spring. I like to garden. Whoop. And I shovel and I put some flowers. Now, what about you? What do you like to do in the spring? Wow, that's amazing. That's so interesting. Good job, everyone. Well done. Everyone, for today's stretch, we're going to be doing arm circles. So first, plant your feet like this, put your arms out, and do 3 circles first. 1, 2, 3. Good job. Now, we're going to do 3 bigger ones. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Now, for our last one, we're going to go backwards. Are you guys ready? Set, go. 1, 2, and 3. Good job. Don't look back, you aren't going that way. Where flowers bloom, so does hope. Be grateful. Merry everything and a happy always. Chili, you're so silly. Chili, what is your favorite season?
All the seasons with you, Katie Grace.
Oh, me too, Chili. You're so silly. Today sure was fun. I learned a lot. Did you? What was your favorite part? Wow, well, thank you for joining me today. I hope you all see you again as we keep exploring the arts with Katie Grace. Remember, if you think it, you can do it. Come on, Maddie.